Last but not least... Hey guys, I'm here to talk about the series that I want to catch up on. Number one is the Sabriel series by Garth Nix. The original trilogy is finished, but he started to continue doing books in the series. I don't think direct sequels, but they may be. One's called Golden Hand and one is called Clare, and there's another one coming out next year called Tertial and Eleanor, and I want to catch up on these, and especially as the new covers for the paperbacks are coming out, I'm going to be collecting those from Waterstones as they come out. As I've said in a previous video, it's one of my favourite books of all time. It's about a girl called Sabriel, her father, who is the mage Abhorsen, goes missing and she goes on a quest to find him. There's a talking cat who is a demon. She has bells and a sword. The bells are to banish demons to the ninth gate or beyond. Very good introductory fantasy if you're not a fantasy reader, so I highly recommend you pick this up. Next up is Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. I read the first one quite a while back now on ebook, on Kindle, and I never continued. I just never picked up the second one because the third one wasn't out yet, and now the third one is out, but I've heard there's going to be a fourth and fifth maybe book, so I'm very nervous to catch up without having another book out, but I do want to catch up on Truthwitch, Sightwitch, which is one of the novellas, and Bloodwitch as well. Truthwitch has a very good female friendship in the story. The main character is a Truthwitch and she can tell if someone is telling the truth or not, which is very rare. Her friend is a thread witch, which means she can see threads of people, like kind of like their aura, so that she can see when they're angry or sad or things like that, definitely for reading emotions. And someone is after the thread witch. I actually can't remember their names, it's been so long. I do need to reread the first one before I continue as well. But it's very well written. I really like the female friendships. I like the sort of beginnings of a romance that was there in the first book as well. Next is the Trials of Apollo series by Riordan. I did read the first book, but I found that I had no fucking clue what was going on because I don't remember anything that happened in Percy Jackson or Heroes of Olympus. I didn't even remember the characters' names. Leo turned up and I was like, who the fuck is this? So I've decided to reread Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus before I read Trials of Apollo, which is going to be a bit of a task. They are long books, but they are kind of easy to read, so I'm hoping that I get into the mood to read those as well. I reread the first Percy Jackson recently and it was very quick to read. Trials of Apollo follows Apollo, who has been cast down to Earth by Zeus, and he doesn't remember who he is, I think, and he has to go through trials to then become restored as a god. Next is The Dragon Republic by RF Kuang. I need to catch up on this before the third book, The Burning God, comes out in November this year. The first book is The Poppy War, which is about our girl Rin, who goes to a state military school. She gets in even though she is from poverty and usually wouldn't be able to get in, but she's so clever that she aces the tests to get in. She studies war strategy. There's a lot of war and politics going on. She's one of the last of the Spielies, who are the dark-skinned race in this world, and there's a lot of colorism and racism going on against her, and she figures out how to commune with the gods in the pantheon and use their power by getting high. Next is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. I've read this first one, Clockwork Angel, but I do need to read the other two. This isn't so high up on my list, I just do want to finish it because I want to know what the hype's all about. Clockwork Angel follows completely different characters compared to the Mortal Instruments. It's set in a sort of Edwardian, Victorian era, something around there. And there's a love triangle. It's generic Shadowhunter stuff with paranormal things going on, and I just kind of want to catch up on it. Next is Nevermoor by Jessica Townsend. I've read the first book, but not the second, and the third is coming out this year as well. I really want to catch up on this because it's a nice middle grade, easy read, and I gave it 5 stars, so I'm excited to see what the second and third books come out with. Nevermoor is about a girl who is cursed to die when she turns 12 years old, but a guy shows up and whisks her away. He's kind of like a Willy Wonka type character. He whisks her away and saves her, and she goes through these trials to try and join a society that will protect her from the beings that are coming to kill her. Next is The Lies of Lamora by Scott Lynch. I really enjoyed the first one. I had it on audiobook. I know the next 2 books are out. I do have the next book on audio, but I think there is a bit of a wait between the third and the fourth books. The fourth one I think hasn't even been announced yet, I'm pretty sure, so I'm a bit wary to catch up on this, but I do want to continue as it was very interesting, the first book. I honestly, even though I've read it, I couldn't really tell you what it's about. It's kind of just like a band of con men who try and pull off this big heist or like con on someone, and they get caught. So they're trying to pull off this big heist on someone and just swindle someone, and it's a really, really big job, and that's kind of what the whole book is about. And there's a lot of flashbacks, there's a lot of background story to each character, which I did really enjoy. I enjoyed learning about each character and how they came to join this band. I am really looking forward to the next one. Next is the Winternight Trilogy by Katherine Arden. I read the first one recently and I'm really excited to carry on because I really, really loved this first one. It's based on Russian folklore. It's about this girl who can see little demons and goblins, but they're normal goblins and nice little fairy demons. Like, the one takes care of her fire, one takes care of the horses, but there's sort of a religious priest comes to the town and starts spreading the propaganda that these things are evil, and her stepmother also can see these things but also thinks they're evil. And it's just about her and how she saves the town because of a bad person who's coming, or a bad demon who is waking up. I think it's Spring that's waking up and is going to destroy them all or eat them all. Next is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I read the first one ages ago and I just have not ever read the second one. I need to get on it. It's a retelling of Arabian Nights. It's enemies to lovers. The king takes a wife every other day or every week or something, and they all end up dead and no one says anything. Our main character, her friend goes to die and she decides that I've had enough, and she volunteers to be the next wife, intending to go and kill the king, but she discovers why that's happening and what's going on, and it goes from there. Last but not least, A Darker Shade of Magic by Last but not least is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I've read the first 2 books. I need to read the 3rd book. I don't know why I've put it off for so long. It's been a very long time since I've read the second one, so I may need to do a reread, or I could just find a summary. If anyone has any good summaries, let me know. A Darker Shade of Magic is about 4 different Londons. One's red, one's grey, one's white, and one's black. They each are kind of a parallel universe. So Red London has magic, White London has been bled of magic, grey London is our London, normal London, and the black London is kind of just dead. It's just gone, like no one talks about it. You have 2 main characters, Lilabard and Kel. I can't remember his surname. I think he's just Kel. Lilabard is a thief living on the streets of Grey London who runs into Kel, who is from Red London, and he can travel between the Londons because he is an Antari. I think that's what it's called. But they meet and sort of shenanigans go from there. So there's also something seeping through from White London or Black London, some bad magic seeping through, and that's kind of the first book's synopsis. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Let me know if there's any other series you want to catch up on, if you have the same ones as me, or if there's any different ones. I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!